Hey guys, Jay here. So in this video today I want to discuss about the Caswin stun archetype, but this time it is going to be with a Gladiator. Why do I want to go for the Gladiator this time? Well, because we have a couple of new toys that make the Gladiator much more attractive than before. Anyway, block. So why block? Because if we play a Caswin stun build, we either farm Simulacrum or we farm Ultimatum. And a very big moneymaker for Ultimatum is you do Inscribe Ultimatum, or you can also do the in-map Ultimatum as well, which is also very good. And the best profit one is probably if you want to do Ultimatum and you can do the random modifier Ultimatum, which means you are not afraid of any modifier in the Ultimatum mod pool. Then you can actually profit big. So in order to deal with the worst modifier for cast when stunned, kind of like AFK build, for Ultimatum is going to be the Ruin modifier, I think. So in order to deal with the Ruin modifier, the one way that you can do is either you avoid the hit with like evasion, but of course we don't do evasion because we want to be hit. If we don't get hit, we cannot be stunned. So we need to block. And block, you just need to block the hit and you will not take a ruin stack. So therefore you can literally AFK, in the Ultimatum without having to worry at all, because the ruin monster normally hits quite slowly, and chances are they are not going to be even hitting you at all, right? Because you have such high block. In this case, I am having a setup with 93% chance to block for both spell and attack. And obviously for normal hit as well, when you block a hit, you are still stunned by the hit with Caswin stun build because you have 0 threshold. So if the hit bypass your threshold, you still get stunned, so you still trigger Caswin stun, so you don't need to worry about not taking any damage. So therefore, well, we just have very nice block shenanigan over here with the Gladiator. The problem with the Gladiator is, other than the 4 notes for block, these are all dog shit. Absolute dog shit. How dog shit? Well, it is dog shit enough that War of Attrition, this shitty little thing, is actually the best Ascendancy note that you can take for Caswin stun if you play Gladiator after the 4 block notes. So you know it is shit. Right, so right here, this is a skill tree that I throw together. It's not like a finalized thing or something, but I just want to, show you the investment that you need for block to reach this level. So right here, I am having some block notes over here, right? And block mastery, this is very good. 4 block notes here. So attack speed does not do anything really. Movement speed is very nice, right? This one, spell block, spell damage, nice, right? This same thing, spell block, attack block. So these are all the block investment that I get. And the other one that I have actually, right? I actually have another thing here. 42% chance to block spell damage in custom modifier. Why do I have this? Well, because we have a new item, Festering Resentment, and it is not like fixed 42%. I think it's probably a roll like 40 to 50% or something like that. But I would just take the 42% because it for sure is going to happen because the number is already here, right? So if you have this item in your offhand, you are going to have a massive amount of spell block chance. So capping block is super easy, even without the use of the keystone here. Where's the skill tree here? Even without the use of the versatile combatant keystone, which minus 10% of maximum blocks. So with this node, you are going to be at 87% chance to block, which normally is still good enough. But for avoiding getting ruin stack, any extra percent is going to be very valuable. So therefore, I want to do 75%, and thus we have this kind of setup, right? So this is the first thing. The second thing that this dagger is going to give is going to be trigger spell poison on hit, and all damage with trigger spell can poison. So means we can actually scale our damage through poison with any trigger spell, really. Any element, any fire, lightning, cold spell, just all of them is going to guarantee to poison, because the wording here is triggered spells poison on hit. It is not can poison, right? So it will poison on hit. And all damage, poison. So this is really, really, really damn good. I think, you know, you can just dual wield and use a scepter. Either you use a Darkseer like normal, or you use a Nebulous. Is buffed very, very heavily this patch. So depending on how much resistance you can get, then you can also use this, right? So by the way, in the configuration in POE here, I am only using just 2 random items. That does nothing for the build. So it counts as I am dual wielding, right? The configuration, nothing but have you block instant recently. So yeah, reaching cap block at 93% here is super, super, super easy. So we can basically run every automaton, basically. We don't need to worry about the ruin mod. And then the next thing. So in order to solve the problem with the Ascendancy, right? Well, we have Bloodline Ascendancy this patch. And I'm not going through every single Bloodline Ascendancy, by the way. Shout out to this freaking node. It's not related to Castle Stun, but Umbro Army is absolutely insane. This node at face value, I think, is the strongest Ascendancy node that we have from all the Bloodline Ascendancies. Just as face value. This is just fucking insane. This is just fucking insane. Anyway, for Castle Stun specifically, what I am looking at right now is Word. So I tried to do Castle Stun Word before. It kind of works, but it does have problems. So I did it back in Set of Cowgirl very early on. But it's, you know, I think it's promising. But this time, with the Olroth Bloodline Ascendancy here, we don't need to use as many uniques to actually enable Word on a Castle Stun, which is really, really damn good. The only thing that we kind of need to use is going to be in the stand here, I think, because in order to get a lot of word, this is just the best way. So in the stand, we can use this one, so we can gain word equal instead of 50% of armor and evasion rating from body armor. So you can have a hybrid armor and evasion chest and just get a lot of word. A few thousand word, like 4,000 or 5,000, is very easy to get with this kind of thing. And so, yeah, we basically have this one item in the stand and then a body armor, a rare body armor with a lot of evasion armor. You know, worst case scenario, if you don't want to craft the item, you can always use a freaking brass dome, because the brass dome can reach up to like almost 5,000 armor, which is very close, right? So brass dome is an option, but brass dome reduce a bunch of your maximum life from strength. So just a rare item probably is good. And also because you are doing poison, right? If you are doing poison, you can have access to a poison mastery. So enemies poisoned by you cannot deal critical strike. So this is pretty good, right? And overall, let's just discuss which of the Ascendancy point that we are going to take. So for Olroth here, we need to kind of understand the word mechanic a little bit as well. So word mechanic is when you take a hit, it is a layer of defense. So you can scale with like increased defense, global defense. So it takes damage from hits before life or ES. And well, it will just take all the word. So if you have like 4,000 word, for example, and you take a hit that deals 100 damage, you will still lose 4,000 word. So that is why word, and by the way, and word comes back by default after 2 seconds. So it is like ES recharge, except it is instant. So ES recharge, it go from 0 to full, but this one after 2 seconds, when it start, it just, everything just appear again. You have 4,000 word immediately. So, with this thing, right, with these nodes, I think Boon of the Sun is going to be insane for Castle Stun, because you take so many enemies hit consistently in Simulacrum, in Ultimatum, while mapping, then you just have an insane amount of faster restoration of word. And that means your word is not going to be back after 2 seconds. It's going to be back after like 2.3 second or something, even less. So you are going to consistently have your word. That is the first thing. Second thing, enhance Starlight, because we can have 4 point to use with the Gladiator, because the Gladiator is the show shit. So we can also take enhanced Starlight. Damage taken bypass Unbroken Word if the hits deals less damage than 15% of the word. So you are not afraid of losing the word to teeny tiny small hits anymore. And this coupled with block, which means out of every 100 hits, you are going to only take 7 hits with 93% chance to block. So less than 1 out of 10 hits you are going to take. Then that means you have all the time in the world to actually just regain your word and take the next big hit. So I think the synergy for defenses is absolutely solid. And maybe this can be a pretty good way to actually do cast when stun for the next patch. So definitely 100% I am going to try this sometime into the league. The first class that I am going to play, the first character, is still going to be an assassin, and probably I will do a wanderer start with kinetic rain, and then I will pivot into a kinetic fusillade with less duration scaling, and kinetic fusillade cast on crit with store lightning warp. And then probably the third character, when I make a half decent amount of currency already, then I will be investing into making this character, which is the cast when stunned. And this time the addition is going to be a Gladiator, right? So thanks for watching. And now I have to go to work. 95 still. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.